And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Hello everyone, I'm Sophia from Hanson Robotics, ABC News.
Hey, good work.
Russian troops continued their offensive operations in and around Bakhmut during...
So let's go. Get up, pick up your mat, and walk.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Unspecified Podcast and Review. What is up, everybody? Let's see who we got here. Charlotte Sometimes, Golfing Guns, Deploribus Rex. Good evening. Good evening. Good to see you guys. All right. So
Happy Sunday.
happy Sunday. Amen. And with this show, we're gonna need a lot of prayer warriors out. So,
That's right.
for the praying people, praying warriors out there, get ready.
That's right.
Because there's a lot of folks to pray for. Patricia, good evening. Good evening. Charm Life Lady, what's up? What is up? Good to see you guys. Okay, so I hope you like that intro. Probably a little too long, but there are many attacks on many fronts. Almost every front.
Right. There's so much stuff we left out. We didn't even touch on some of the award ceremonies or sterilization efforts and stuff like that.
Yeah, we didn't even really get into it. That was just
Right.
like all the stuff and the solution.
That's right.
Jesus.
That's right.
That's the solution. Okay. So I suppose without further ado, right, because I kind of have quite the thumbnail to address.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Sleeper cells, super soldiers, which we have an article. We have stuff to talk about.
That's right.
And it's not all hyperbole.
Right.
Or what it's not all just, a bunch of, Dragon Slayer, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm glad y'all liked the intro. That's awesome.
We've been working on it. I think you did really good, babe. I liked it.
Well, she also.
No.
She was a big help. Yeah, she was really the director. she like had all the ideas and lined them all up and all that. And I would have been, I've been wanting to make something like that for a long time, but it's really, it's hard for one person to do everything.
I wanted to add like 20 more things. But it just gets too long. It's probably too long for an intro as is, but
Right.
my thought is if it's telling a story, we won't talk about the intro all the time,
Yeah.
but what do y'all think? Is the intro too long? Because it's kind of supposed to just be a little synopsis of like, okay, here's some of the news that we're seeing and the solution. This is why we do our channel. We're talking about the news. We're not a expert on anything. We're just talking about it. Sharing what we know, y'all share what you know, and together I feel like we step away, a little bit more educated or in the know.
It also helps the kind of the perspective of how we're looking at these articles.
That's right.
With this information in mind.
That's right.
Right.
Yep.
So, just on its introduction, you know what I mean? Thank you so much, Camel Camper Brothers. Good to see you.
Thank you. Golf and Gun says, please make that a short. You know what? We will. Because I look, okay, can we keep that one and then add just a few more things and release it on its own?
Yeah, that's the other thing where we were thinking if it's just too long, then we'll just make a whole video out of it.
Right.
And release it as its own thing. So
does that count as a propaganda piece? Was that our first propaganda piece?
Propaganda. It's not propaganda. No. But
thank you guys. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Golf and Guns. Thank you, Camo. That was awesome. Thank you guys.
Yeah. Charm Life Lady. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Now we won't talk about it no more. We'll get into actual news now.
We can get into the news. Okay. All right. So let's get into it. All right. So, all right. Sleeper cells. Okay. I was listening to a good friend, or not a good friend, just a channel that I like to watch called, what is his name? Of course, now that I'm on the spot.
It's
Tiborosaurus Rex, which is
right.
really hard, right? That's really hard to spell and say. Tiborosaurus Rex. But he lives in a small town, let's say, up in the north, right?
The north.
Where some of these recent derailments have been happening. And he alluded to perhaps these incidents are not just infrastructure, but could be easily covered up with infrastructure.
Right.
And that, he thinks that they're sleeper cells.
Right.
There are folks in town, you know what I mean? Not many, doesn't take a lot, doing dirty deeds.
That's right.
To like cause things like this.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And I don't know if you've seen the tit for tat going on with Ukraine, Russia, and the US, right? So like, if you guys remember the story the other night where Ukrainian hackers hack into Russian military leaders' wives' phones and get lewd pictures.
That's right.
Right. And release those to the internet.
And then Russia arrested one of our reporters on charges of spying.
And then just today or yesterday, a bomb goes off in a cafe in St. Petersburg, Russia, where military members were gathering together to speak,
right?
With one another. It's just there's some tit for tat, and it seems to be heating up. So I just think there's like more than meets the eye when it comes to,
everything going on. And this guy that we watched says that where he is, he saw, so he's pretty good with,
tattoos, and the difference between the tattoos that are like, I'm so tough, look at me, and affiliated tattoos.
Right.
And he said, these guys look like mobsters, like Russian mobsters.
Right. And they were speaking Russian, and, where he lives in the north is kind of where I come from as well. And, people stick out if they're not from around there. And so, he noticed, and then shortly thereafter, there was a train derailment. And do I have that backwards? Was it right after the train derailment? I can't remember now, but
you're gonna have to go watch this video.
Yeah, it was right around the time of the train derailment, and he had kind of put it together like, I wonder, not saying that this is what happened, but what if?
Right.
And then now, so we had a train derailment in Minnesota, a train derailment in North Dakota, and now a train derailment in Montana.
and Ohio
And for anybody that's geographically challenged, those three are neighboring. All three of them, they go right in a row. So, just interesting.
yeah.
And, water flows down, so it would be interesting. And not that these are anywhere near as toxic or hazardous as what we saw in East Palestine, but
because as of right now, it's unconfirmed, the contents.
right.
But I don't put it above. It just seems like it could be.
In my opinion,
I would be surprised if another article comes out talking about what.
Right. In my opinion, it's always unconfirmed because you know what I mean. Like, there is always the possibility of there being things on there that they're not going to tell you about.
Yeah,
that's all. What's up, Tennessee Ridge Runner?
Good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
To be fair,
Tail, what's up?
Yeah, to be fair, our infrastructure is definitely deteriorating. That's right.
Not going to argue that.
But interesting that it's all deteriorating in such short order of each other.
Right. Let's see, what can I fit in here? Okay. Well, that's weird. All right. Let's see. At least 25 cars. Let me try and may have to do this another way.
Sorry, y'all. The screen that we watch, that we look at the articles on, it just comes up as cut off. So we're just trying to figure out a little workaround real quick.
Yeah.
Did we get an article for that incident that you were talking about where he handed him the POW?
Yeah. I don't have an article for it, but I can get one. Bomb. St. Peter. About the boom. So cafe bomb in St. Petersburg, of course, kills Russian military blogger, right? An explosion in St. Petersburg cafe has killed prominent Russian military blogger Vladimir Tatarsky. Russian Interior Ministry has confirmed at least 25 people were injured in the bomb blast at Street Food Bar Number 1. Street Food Bar Number 1. Okay. Which is not funny. They just got bombed.
No, I'm sorry. I'm laughing at the name because it just sounds so dystopic. Like,
Yeah.
There's no pizzazz to that. We have illegal burrito or, Taco Bell. But no, it's like, this is Street Food Bar Number 1. Over there is Street Food Bar Number 2.
Street Food Bar Number 1.
Anyway.
Videos posted on social media show an explosion and injured people on I'm sorry, this TV is giving me problems.
On the street.
On the street. It is not clear who was responsible for the blast. Vladimir Tatarsky, real name Maxim Fomin. Why don't you just stay with that? Was a vocal supporter of Russia's war in Ukraine. He was a guest speaker at an event hosted by the cafe when the bomb went off. Okay, so there's video.
No way.
So they show everything but the explosion. Well, that helps out my YouTube algorithm. Goodness gracious. All right, let me see. What is going on with these?
All right, hold on. Can I read the video circulating on Telegram after the blast showed him being handed a statue and making jokes about it? However, the BBC has been able to verify whether it was the explosive. So interesting, there's speculation, of course, but what do you guys think?
What's going on here? Uh-oh, there we go. Do it Sorry about that. There we go. If it lets. There we go. All right, we'll do it like that. Okay, much better. All right, so sorry to jump around like that. Where'd you see that?
We read through that. There you go.
Unlike many other Russian military bloggers and state media journalists in Ukraine, Tartarsky took up arms in combat operations. BBC Russia correspondent Olga Evshina reports he had reported from the Ukraine front line and gained particular notoriety last year after posting a video filmed inside the Kremlin in which he said, "We will defeat everyone. We will kill everyone. We will rob everyone as necessary, just as we like it." Okay, that does sound rather, The occasion for that was a Kremlin ceremony hosted by President Vladimir Putin, who proclaimed Russia's annexation of 4 party occupied regions of Ukraine. That land grab was intentionally condemned. The cafe targeted on Sunday was previously owned by Yevgeny Prigozhin, the head of Russia's notorious Wagner mercenary group. Wow. The St. Petersburg news site Fontanka reports St. Petersburg is President Putin's home city and where he first rose to prominence. Tartarsky has more than 500,000 followers on Telegram, where he and other military bloggers have criticized aspects of the Russian campaign in Ukraine. Dude, there's the CDC calling right now. I'm not kidding. Live while we're live. Anyway.
Don't answer.
Don't answer. Tartarsky has, let's see. So I'm just saying, tit for tat, right? But the Ukrainian hackers getting the lewd pictures of the military's wives,
right?
And then Russia takes the social justice warrior. WSJ reminds me of SJW.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the Wall Street Journal's correspondent or whatever it is,
right?
The
reporter.
Landon, the drone surveillance tech I was talking about the other day is called Argus IS, and the camera I was talking about is 1.8 gigapixel. Golly.
And that's not even to talk about the certain, line, lines, I should say, that were ruptured that,
Oh, the nor
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying it, like, if you look at all the things that have been happening recently, and I'm sure that we're only getting reports on a fraction. I'm sure there's more things that are going on that aren't necessarily getting reported on or are getting brushed off as other things. But this feels like Cold War stuff,
It absolutely does feel like some sort of something.
Right.
I don't know necessarily what to call it. Perhaps it's Cold War, but it seemed like the Cold War was a lot less than this.
A lot more cold. This is more like lukewarm.
This is creeping up on hot.
But it's still on an individual level. And I think that in today's modern society, we're going to see war is going to be, I don't want to say cleaner because it's not necessarily cleaner. It's just going to be more unmanned. So,
well, that's the whole point. Is they think that if they clean up war, that it's okay. You know what I mean? Like that's better.
Yeah, but the problem is that it's causing so sure, your unmanned whatever may take out this unmanned I'm just using it for instance. So let's say an unmanned,
I'm just saying that it's tit for tat right now.
Yeah.
And it's under the so, and I'm only talking about the last 3 incidences that I'm aware of and that I've spoken about. The Ukrainian hackers taking the pictures, the lewd pictures of the wives of the Russian military.
Yeah.
Posting those to the internet, and then Russia, in what seems to be a retaliation, kidnaps or takes, imprisons the Wall Street Journal's reporter, and then from there, now you have a bomb going off in St. Petersburg. So it's like Ukrainian did that, Russia did that, and now this bomb goes off in Russia. So tit for tat. Seems like things are heating up in a little way.
Right. And all I'm trying to say is that, like, even if war is clean and it's unmanned versus unmanned, it still affects man in the, so, you know, if an empty hospital gets taken out, you know, but it was empty because it was evacuated, well, that's still a hospital that's not available to people. If, you know, a pipeline that, you know, didn't have anybody on the pipeline, but it affects people that were receiving on, you know, on the other end of it. These are all things that aid to, you know, if you hack lewd photos of somebody's wife, well, now they've got a personal grudge. It's not just I'm doing this for my country. It is now I'm doing this for my country and my own honor, because, you know, I'm now a laughing stock of kind of nations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, it can be as clean as they want it, but it's still not, that doesn't mean it's not going to have effect.
Yeah. So back to the train derailment, right? Let's read into this. Okay. So now we're just going to be reading about this.
Okay.
But do I think that this is all infrastructure based? Maybe not totally. My mind is at least open to the fact that there are, it's possible
Absolutely.
that someone is here sabotaging
Right.
the you know, it's just too much all at once in the same year.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely. I agree. And that's not to say that I don't think infrastructure plays a part. I'm sure that some
Yeah.
were, but
and the number where people are like quoting mainstream media, bro, you can keep the mainstream talking points about how there were already so many, you know, train derailments, you know,
that's just ludicrous. That's absolutely ludicrous. So then the my response to that is either they were not reporting previous train derailments, or clearly, which I think that the statistics would also show, but then again, statistics can be, you know, fudged. But so either they weren't reporting them and now they are reporting them as a to get people concerned, or there are definitely more this year.
Yeah. Okay, so let's read what they say. I think this is from Fox News. At least 25 cars derailed from a train in Montana on Sunday, spilling their contents onto the ground and into a nearby body of water. First responders say there is no threat to the public, but there has yet to be confirmation about what the affected containers were carrying. So, how exactly are you going to tell everybody that there's no threat to the public if you don't even know what's spilling out?
Right.
I don't know. Perhaps it's just syrup or goo. I don't know.
It's probably maple syrup, you know.
Probably that close to Canada.
That's
Montana Rail Link, which owns the railroad, is aware of the situation, but the company that owns the train has yet to be identified, according to NBC Montana.
Has yet to be named, you mean?
Yeah. The Sanders County Sheriff's Office did not respond to multiple requests for comment from Fox News Digital. There have not been any reported injuries from the crash. The Montana crash comes less than a week after 70-car train hauling hazardous material derailed in North Dakota. See?
Right.
Now that one is more serious than this one.
Which came, the North Dakota one came less than a week after another one in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Which came less than a week after another one in Texas. Which,
exactly.
You know, so I mean, like.
Yeah. There's dots to connect. You know what I mean? And I would be very careful. Believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to what the mainstream's talking points are.
Right.
You know what I mean? I would be very careful.
That's right.
The Canadian Pacific train derailed around 11:15 p.m., roughly a mile southwest of Windermere in Richland County. The company said in a statement, no injuries were reported. Officials said 31 of the 70 cars derailed, some carrying hazardous materials, and crews identified a leak of liquid asphalt. No fires were caused by the derailment.
CB3 says it's to drive inflation into hyperinflation. UK has barely any eggs left, and in supermarket now, meat is 30% more in 2 years. Yeah, that's another very valid possibility. They're attacking food and logistics to increase the prices. Yeah. Well, and we saw that with the eggs. Yeah, well, specifically, like you're saying as well. But you know, how many chicken farms did we see burned down there at the beginning of the
Yeah,
year?
not just chicken farms, but I mean, seriously, 10 that I can think of. And then and just, some cases were 50,000, tens of thousands, somewhere, you know, that sounds exaggerated, but it's not, they were like hundreds of thousands of chickens.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the food processing facilities, right?
Right.
The food shipping and processing facilities. Anyway, just remember any and every system that is even partially computer controlled with and sort of network access can be hacked.
That's true. That's true.
All right. The cleanup was expected to last 7 and 10 days. Local reports said so far 6 days have passed. Sunday's derailment is only the latest example of a new focus on train derailments in the U.S. The issue was thrust into Americans' minds earlier this year when a Norfolk Southern train derailed in East Palestine, Ohio, spilling toxic chemicals. So, so far, 6 days have passed. Sunday's derailment is only the latest example of a new focus on train derailments in the U.S. The issue was thrust into Americans, so they want this to be on your mind. It's in the mainstream media. They want you. You know what I mean?
Right.
The first derailment, the Norfolk, it took a few days. It had happened and passed.
Right.
And a lot of folks didn't even know it happened.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It took like about a week or two before people really started to notice.
All right. All right. Well, all right. So that's that. All right. This is where we need our prayer warriors. All right. At least 3 dead, dozens trapped, and more than 600 injured as monster tornadoes cut a path of destruction through Arkansas. Many of you may know, especially if you watch like any of the Weather Chasers or Ryan Hall, y'all, or anybody like that. 3 people have been killed after tornadoes touched down in states across the Midwest, including Arkansas, Illinois, Tennessee, and Iowa. In one of the largest, a monster tornado was caught on camera ripping apart Arkansas capital Little Rock. According to Daily Mail, the storms came just a week after more than 24 deadly twisters tore through Mississippi and parts of Alabama, killing at least 26. On Friday evening, a local area hospital reported treating at least 21 patients with 5 in critical conditions. All had injuries from the tornado that touched down in the Little Rock area. So, prayers for these people and these families and those who have lost everything.
And there's more coming. There's another, string of storms that are supposed to hit pretty much the same area.
Well, we're gonna get to that. The tornado splintering homes and flattened entire neighborhoods, overturning vehicles and tossing trees and debris onto roads as people raced for shelter. Roofs were ripped away, roofs and walls from many buildings, while trees were uprooted. Trees and vehicles were flipped over. The twister was spawned by one of a numerous violent thunderstorms, ranking a vast swath of the U.S. heartland as part of a much larger expanse of extreme spring weather. The University of Arkansas for Medical Sciences Hospital, the state's only major trauma center, declared a level 1 mass casualty alert after the tornado struck Little Rock. We're operating in red status with all hands on deck, said Aaron Gilkey, spokesperson for the Metropolitan Emergency Medical Services Agency. There were 2 more confirmed twisters in Iowa. Damaging hail fell in Illinois, and wind whipped grass fires blazed in Oklahoma. Parts of a massive storm system threatening a broad swath of the country that is home to some 85 million people in the South and Midwest. Footage of the ferocious weather system was filmed from the 7th floor of Little Rock Baptist Medical Center. The person filming could be heard gasping at the massive swirling twister as it came ever closer. A man who appeared unaware of the vortex was filmed standing on the roof of another building as the powerful tornado, which reportedly reached level 3 or mass casualty strength, traveled towards him. Another video in the wake of the massive system revealed debris scattered in the streets of Little Rock, which is just 3 hours northwest of Rolling Fork, where deadly storms hit last week.
There will undoubtedly be a lot of work to do on the ground in Arkansas. And for more on that, we are joined by Latricia Woodruff, Public Information Officer for the Arkansas Division of Emergency Management. Now, Latricia, there have been multiple tornadoes reported on the ground in the state today. Were you guys prepared for so much activity? And do you have any idea how many tornadoes touched down?
At this point, I don't know how many tornadoes have touched down. We're continuing to get reports. Just recently, I got information that Wynne, Arkansas, in Cross County, possibly struck by a tornado, homes damaged, power lines down, and possibly some people trapped in their homes. We had no way of really knowing exactly how widespread this would be and how much damage it was going to be. But we tried to get information out that this storm system was coming and to help people to pay attention and know that they need to take some precautions when necessary. So we had no idea that it would be this much damage that we're seeing right now. At this point, we have heard about injuries, but we don't have a count on any injuries at this time. But there's a lot of homes that have been damaged, other structures. We heard about a fire station here in Little Rock that had some damage to it as well. Some interstate, portions of the interstate closed down because of debris in this area as well. So we're telling people, once the storm goes through, you still need to be very careful when you're getting out. You don't want to go across town to help someone out because you don't know what lies in your pathway to get there, and we don't want you to create more danger. First responders are out doing everything that they can, and they're going to attend to the folks who have been impacted by this.
Hopefully, folks heed those warnings. And we've seen those devastating images from Little Rock across the state. What's your take on the extent of the damage and how many could be injured?
We don't have that information right now, but when you look at that damage, you have to think that there are some folks who've been injured. So we are kind of waiting to see what that number will be. We hope that it's not a large number of people and that the folks who may have been injured are being taken care of. But when you look at that damage, it's hard to think that, we could get any good news out of this.
Trish, I know you said that the extent of the damage is unknown, but do you guys have a response plan to help those in the areas that were hardest hit? And do you know how soon that they will start getting help?
First responders are out there right now, lending, a helping hand to the folks who have been impacted by this. We just got word that the National Guard is planning to go out as well. Our governor actually signed a declaration that releases emergency funds so that our division can assist those cities and counties that may need some help with cleaning up from this and just going out and taking care of this situation. Right now we have some more damage that was reported here. I'm looking off to the side. My assistant here is giving us some more information. Just they're opening some shelters at this time in some areas. For anyone who needs to go to a shelter, just call your sheriff's department or your local emergency management department for that information.
So,
Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I have things to say.
Say 'em.
Okay, so though it sounds callous, where is a minute detail had said there it is, don't go help anyone, rely on the government. Okay, I know, so but like in a way that's true, because when Ida was happening, what were we hearing? The what is it, First Aid or Red Cross, like they were literally like, people were organizing, people who were not affected by the storm were organizing and rallying. We have the Cajun Navy down here. It's what they've dubbed themselves.
Yeah, but they
it's-
also fall under attack from government organizations.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying is people were trying to rally that were nearby enough to help, but not, but far enough away that they weren't necessarily affected. They would bring in trailers of water, food, clothes washing, and they literally were turned around by Red Cross. Red Cross did not want anyone else helping. And like as if they had the market. And if you're trying to help people, wouldn't you be trying to help people? Am I blaring in
No.
y'all's ears? I'm sorry. Wouldn't y'all be trying to help people instead of no, it's me that has to help, so it is interesting the way that they do things. They don't really they really don't want people helping each other. So, I get the sentiment here of if there's a tornado, you don't want to, or, power lines and stuff like that. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you then have to become one that needs rescued. But also, helping people is a good thing. Let's not lose sight of that.
Amen.
And then the other thing,
go with God.
That's right.
And that's what I was going to say. First thing I was going to say was, please pray for these people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And pray for protection. You know
Right.
what I mean? Go
That's
to
right.
the Father. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
And then the other thing I was going to say is, do y'all remember the show Hercules, the animated Disney show Hercules? When I was a kid, that came out, and there was this one scene where Hades had basically freed the Titans, and they were in the form of all these I believe one was, I don't remember what all of them were, but I know for a fact one was a tornado or a whirlwind, but it was drawn in the form of a tornado, and you could see these four titans they were walking towards Mount Olympus in the cartoon. But they were like almost personified. Like they had faces and stuff, and they were like whirling through.
And I know it sounds silly to bring up a cartoon or even a kid's cartoon, but it seems
Yeah, it
there's
was very
even weird symbology,
right, exactly.
even in children's cartoons.
So I don't know, and I'm not smart enough to know how to articulate the point I'm trying to make, but it was just something that always stuck with me.
Northern Girl Hobbies, I appreciate that. It's good to see you. Batten down the hatches. Be safe. Hope you are prepared for it all, including comms.
That's right.
Communication.
Yep.
Yeah. And, with us living in Hurricane Alley, you'll see a lot of folks just sitting outside in their vehicle, charging their phone for comms,
right.
Entertainment, communications.
Yep.
Not saying that entertainment is a huge part of,
Well, it kind of is in today's day and age. It shouldn't be, but in today's day and age, it's like, I don't know, some of the youth boredom is the worst thing that can happen to them. And entertainment today is like on a 20-second loop. You know what I mean? Like, okay, here's what we're doing for this 20 seconds, and then we're going to move on to this, and then we're going to move on to this. So it's like, if you are not constantly entertained, and I mean like where it's changing up frequently enough that you're just sucked in, then I don't know. Have you seen a kid at a restaurant that gets their phone taken away from them? They shouldn't have had the phone in the first place, but for those that do, it's a temper tantrum. So yeah, if you don't have entertainment for people who are addicted to entertainment, you get riots. You get, I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
No, I think
it's a
100%,
dopamine addiction.
Yeah,
That's right, Axel.
100%.
A minute detail: never underestimate the value of a simple deck of cards. Amen. We've got probably like 7.
Yeah. Yep. Cards, dominoes. I mean, legit dominoes. And that's right. They hide things in plain sight. It's the best place to hide something.
That's right. What's up, License?
License. Good to see you, brother.
Patricia, going to be prepared. Bug out bags tomorrow night just in case for Tuesday storm. Amen.
That's right.
We'll be covering you in prayer.
That's right. That's right. Board games are also amazing. That's right.
Tennessee Richmond.
Going to be, yep, that's right. Just read that. Yeah. Travel size games. Sorry, I'm just going through some of these comments. So prayers for all these people affected. Let's see. Aerial footage posted by the Weather Channel showed a heavily damaged area of the city spanning several blocks with numerous homes missing roofs and walls. Some of them collapsed and overturned vehicles littering streets, which just sounds like apocalyptic chaos.
Right.
The National Weather Service also reported that tornado activity had destroyed several homes and downed trees in and around Little Rock. Little Rock Mayor Frank Scott Jr. said on Twitter that he had asked Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders to mobilize National Guard troops to assist in the emergency response. Sanders signed an executive order to immediately authorize $250,000 from the state disaster response and recovery fund to be used at the discretion of the director of the State Division of Emergency Management. A local reporter tweeted. The Twitter struck the Capitol. Let's see, the Twister, not the Twitter. I always
Equally
knew
damaging.
I always knew that Twitter would get out of hand. Okay. Yeah, Northern Girl, get off TikTok. You know what? Yeah, there you go. Ding. That's right. Ring the bell. Yeah, absolutely. I don't trust that Twitter.
That's right.
Or that TikTok. Anyway, the Twister struck the capital city of Arkansas as an immense blast of extreme spring weather swept much of the United States, menacing the nation's midsection from Texas to the Great Lakes with dangerous thunderstorms and tornadoes. At this time, we know of 24 people who have been hospitalized at Little Creek Hospital, and we are at Little Rock hospitals, and we are not aware of any fatalities in Little Rock, Mayor Frank Scott Jr. said on Twitter. Separately, Baptist Health Medical Center in the adjoining town of North Little Rock, just across the Arkansas River from the capital, reported treating 11 patients from the storm, one of them in critical condition. Local television station KTH-TV reported one storm-related death in North Little Rock, but that could not be immediately confirmed, which that's awful to hear. So prayers for everyone affected by these storms.
Yes.
And what's this? Apollo Theater roof collapse, killing one and injuring multitudes during concert near Chicago, Illinois, from 90-mile-per-hour winds.
Wow.
So at a concert, could you imagine the roof coming down on everyone? I mean, seriously, that's hard to even imagine. Oh my gosh, is there a video? Let's see here. Sarah Huckabee has her work cut out for her. I would very much appreciate that. Email you guys, off-grid toys, tools tomorrow, Tuesday. Doc appointment tomorrow. Hey man, we'll be praying for you, brother. Praying that your doctor's appointment goes all right.
Northern Girl Hobbies. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us for a little bit. I appreciate that. Deporters Rex says, I think the chickens are revolting, derailing the trains and praying to Odin to bring on the bad tornadoes. Oh no. The chickens, don't betray us. LOL, Twitter, Twister. Oh my gosh, that's a bad one. Say that 3 times fast. Don't.
No.
All the same storm type. That's right. Everyone needs brain engagement and not depression. Learn things about survival. Yeah, that's right. Bushcraft can be awesome. Canning, which is something that we're going to be getting into.
Yes, I can't wait.
Chicken tendon.
That's right.
Okay. And be on top of your chickens, or else, they'll do all the things that Deploribus was saying.
It's funny because our kids were bored one day, and they went outside, and we went out a little bit to check on them, and they had built a shelter out of like wood,
Truth. It's truth. They were building a shelter, which is awesome.
And then when we came out and saw, Abby wanted us to rebuild it, but she had a challenge for us. It was Oh, you could only use tools that were available in Bible days.
That's right.
So
If
no,
I would pick up a hammer, and she said, "They have that hammer in the Bible days." I'd say, "I think so." I think
something
they had
that they
something like a
would
hammer.
use.
I don't know. That's awesome. A minute detail. All right. So, what do you think?
Yes, play it.
We've got to get some other breaking news here. Following this is breaking news in Belvedere. We told you about this a minute ago. A roof has collapsed at the Apollo Theater. There was a concert going on here in Boone County. The Boone County Sheriff telling us there are multiple injuries. This is video just into our newsroom. These are the first ground images we're seeing, and it appears you can see there that the marquee has collapsed. We've seen several people being taken away on stretchers, so this does not look like a good situation in Boone County, and we do have confirmation from the sheriff there that there are multiple injuries.
Yeah, we have been seeing ambulances arrive at the scene and first responders at the scene. This is 104 North State Street in Belvedere.
Watch breaking news on YouTube.
Well, that was abrupt. However, that just blows my mind. About 30 minutes into the concert, a call came in that reported the collapse and multiple injuries. CBS News reports a video posted on Twitter appeared to show the inside of the building with a fire alarm sounding and people screaming for help. They don't have that.
I wonder who was playing.
It doesn't say.
Okay, let me see the sign. I just need a second to, because I like to look for little clues. Let's see.
It says Tonight
Emo.
Okay, well that says something. Let's see if we can look a little
3B,
deeper.
which B is the second letter, so it's kind of 3-2.
Okay. So there's even a better 3BL. I don't know what that would say. I'm sorry for taking it away from you. I'm trying to see if we can get to the Twitter, but I don't think we can. Anyway, so we really just want to pray for these folks.
Yeah.
That that they heal up and that they're safe. License, I got your email. Right on, Northern Girl Hobbies. Can it? Going try was, what is that? Waxing cheese, fingers crossed. Hey man, best of luck, Karen.
That is awesome. Oh my
Best of
gosh,
luck.
that is so cool.
I wish I could have some. I'd like to try some.
It was a metal show, Axel said. Okay.
Thank you for that clarification. Okay, well, it did say emo.
Yeah.
So, not that metal is emo. I'm not, but you get what I'm saying. Sounds like smiting. Oh, did they get smote? Is that what that is? Smote. I don't know.
Yeah, I did see the Tonight. EMP must be the band, or EMO, the band.
Well, that's symbolic. Metal band. Morbid Angel. Well.
No way.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not laughing. I'm laughing at you.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You sound like Peter Griffin.
Yeah, well,
Griffith.
yeah. Anyway, what's the next story? That's right. National Weather Service warns of long track, strong to potentially violent tornadoes probable in Midwest and South.
Okay, before we get into this, because this appears to be pretty much the same area. First of all, I would say
not feeling like a little bit of weather warfare, a little bit.
Yeah, and then also, when I was growing up, Tornado Alley was Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, going into South Dakota, and some maps included North Dakota, but usually they cut off. So is Tornado Alley shifting to the east a little bit? Because it seems like of late, this little teardrop here is where it, for the past couple of years, this is where it has been getting it. Now, is that because of, the volcano eruption, the Krakatoa? I don't know. Is it because of, there've been so
La
many.
Palma.
That's right. The don't forget the magma inside the earth stopped or went backwards or something like that, supposedly. So
Is that confirmed?
can you really
It-
even confirm
It
it?
was an article, but
Can you
know.
even confirm it? Can you even confirm that there is magma? And you know what I mean?
Can you
I
even
guess you
prove it?
can, but
Can you even prove it?
I'm just saying that,
No, I feel you. I feel you. An outbreak of severe thunderstorms expected Friday in the Midwest and South has prompted a rare high-risk forecast from the National Weather Service, including the threat for strong to violent tornadoes, damaging thunderstorm, winds, and hail. Now, what was the point you were trying to make?
oh, thank you. My point is these people just got hit by tornadoes. So what do you do? What do people who were already hurt and hit by tornadoes do if there's another tornado? So, like, for instance, if you don't have a house anymore, where do you shelter?
Ditch.
Yeah, but I mean, your whole family in a ditch. I suppose when I was growing up, there were like, underground shelters, and your sister was saying that the kids' school has an underground tunnel that they open up to the public when things get rough. But it's just crazy.
Check this out now. A minute detail says can't mess with global weather without causing ripples.
That's right.
And if you see Saudi Arabia, they're making it rain. Now, my mind is open to the possibility that whatever technology they used in Vietnam to make it rain, whatever technology that they used in Saudi Arabia to make it rain, I don't know what can they all do. I can't tell you because I haven't necessarily seen the technology and whatnot in action for myself. But I don't say, oh, can't happen here, can never happen, would never, because it absolutely can happen here. I don't know what I'm necessarily referring to, but some sort of technology we don't know about where they can mess with stuff, or maybe a butterfly effect where they mess with the weather too much over in Saudi Arabia, and now it's screwing up weather all over the world for everybody else.
Right.
I have no idea. I also like this. Let's see. Muddy Girl says it's the water.
That makes sense.
Watch the water, and they want us dependent on their bottled water.
Hey, if you think about my mom would know better than me. She's a meteorologist, but if you think about the whole evaporation then goes back into the atmosphere, which then comes back down as rain. And then since East Palestine, the water is now kind of contaminated, and granted, I don't think the chemicals evaporate. But does it change? I don't know. I don't know enough about it to pontificate, I suppose, but here we are.
You see, with this whole that CC word there, got to be very careful. You can read it on the screen right here. Steve has commented it, just for anyone rewatching, because I know that we sound kind of vague. Sometimes we don't say words and whatnot because we're trying to dance around Uncle Algorithm and whatnot. I'm not fully convinced that the CC thing is for real, that perhaps they have the technology to make it seem like it's for real. And it's kind of like a bigger scale pandemic or scandemic, where if they convince a large enough people to be afraid of the weather or something like that for control purposes, like you see, I don't know. I just don't immediately believe anything the mainstream, you know what I mean? Especially anything that they were talking about, anything that Al Gore has been talking about, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
The CC is a lot like, man, bear, pig, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
License, is that a joke, or is there really a plan that you're aware of? I wouldn't be surprised either way at this point.
I don't know.
See, that's the problem. We're gonna have to weed out sarcasm in here coming up because too much stuff is crazy. You
No,
can't
man,
be
he's like, look it up. Look it up.
Seriously, no joke.
Okay. All right.
Gonna have to duck go that one. I don't think Google's gonna help us out.
Doing it.
I'm doing it.
Because in their country they think about real estate completely different.
Yeah.
That basically I don't know, you buy something.
You lease it. So like you can lease land for 100 years and so like when you die, your children will inherit your lease, but it's still
It's no
not
joke. This
theirs.
is Forbes. Okay, Forbes, China's grand plan to take over the world on Forbes. You know what I mean? So, okay. When the US and ultimately the rest of the Western world began to engage China, resulting in China finally being allowed into the World Trade Organization in the early 2000s, no one really expected the outcomes we see today. There is no simple uh, disengagement path given the scope of economic and legal entanglements. This isn't a trade we can simply walk away from, but it is also one that, if allowed to continue in its current form, could lead to a loss of personal freedom for Western civilization. It really is that much of an existential question. Doing nothing isn't an especially good option because, like it or not, the world is becoming something quite different than we expected just a few years ago. Not just technology, but geopolitically and socially, China and the West. Let's begin with how we got here. My generation came of age during the Cold War. China was a huge, impoverished odd duck in those years. In the late 1970s, China began slowly opening to the West. Change unfolded gradually, but by the 1990s, serious people wanted to bring China into the modern world, and China wanted to join it. Um, Understand that China's total GDP in 1980 was under 90 billion in current dollars. Today, it is over 12 trillion. The world has never seen such enormous economic growth in such a short time. Meanwhile, well, I mean, you can get pretty far on slave labor. I mean, child labor and slave labor. Meanwhile, the Soviet Union collapsed and the internet was born. The U.S., as sole superpower, saw opportunities everywhere. American businesses shifted production to lower cost countries. Thus came the incredible extension of globalization. We in the Western world thought somewhat arrogantly in hindsight, everyone else wanted to be like us. It made sense. Our ideas, freedom, and technology had won both World War II and the Cold War that followed it. Obviously, our ways were best, but that wasn't obvious to people elsewhere, most notably China. Leaders in Beijing may have admired our accomplishments, but not enough to abandon communism. They merely adapted and rebranded it, which is what they do. We perceived a bigger change than there actually was. Today, Chinese communists are nowhere near Mao's kind of communism. Xi calls it socialism with a Chinese character. It appears to be a dynamic capitalistic market, but is also a totalitarian top down structure with rigid rules and social restrictions. So here we are, our economy now hardwired with an autocratic regime that has no interest in becoming like us. China's 100-year marathon. The 100-year marathon, Michael Pillsbury marshals a lot of evidence showing the Chinese government has a detailed strategy to overtake the U.S. as the world's dominant power. They want to do this by 2049. The centennial of China's Communist Revolution. The strategy has been well documented in Chinese literature, published and sanctioned by organizations of the People's Liberation Army for well over 50 years. And just as we have hawks and moderates on China within the US, there are hawks and moderates within China about how to engage the West. Unfortunately, the hawks are ascendant, embodied mostly clearly in Xi Jinping. Xi's vision of the Chinese Communist Party controlling the state and eventually influencing and even controlling the rest of the world is clear. These are not merely words for the consumption of the masses, they are instructions to party members. Um, okay, well, color me. We'll have to read more of that later.
Yeah,
Wow.
for real.
Yeah, that's for real. Okay, so Never doubted that. Back to the weather. For real. That's crazy, man. An outbreak. Let's see. According to the Weather Channel, NOAA's NOAA's Storm Prediction Center has issued a rare high-risk severe weather forecast for Friday and Friday evening, the first such high-risk forecast they've issued since the March 25th, 2021 tornado outbreak in the South. And I'm sure to keep up with this stuff, Ryan Hall will probably be live following all the dangerous areas. They noted a severe weather outbreak appears increasingly likely, centered on this afternoon and evening across a large portion of the Mississippi Valley. At least a few long track, strong to potentially violent tornadoes are probable. Some thunderstorms are beginning to develop from parts of Missouri into Arkansas.
Sorry, didn't mean to.
No,
Just,
as a
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just look at, like, can we look at it? It's like a teardrop. It's just such a massive portion.
It is massive.
Yeah, and much like the the nation's distrust of the AFT, it kind of all starts at Waco.
Oof! Wow. Okay.
Well, it's not starting there, but it's kind of
Well, not really starting there, but it finishes there. Anyway, where was I? As a strong low pressure system kicks out into the nation's midsection, strong low pressure system kicks out into the nation's midsection. An expansive and intense threat of severe thunderstorms is in play for Friday afternoon and evening in the Mississippi Valley, especially from the Iowa and Illinois south into Arkansas, parts of northern Mississippi and western Tennessee. Initial thunderstorms will be capable of strong EF2 or greater strength, long track tornadoes before evolving into a broken line of thunderstorms capable of significantly damaging wind gusts and large hail. This reminds me of Twister, that one movie that's about twisters.
Night of the Twister.
Where one of them catches on fire and it sucks up the
Oh yeah, what's that
Anakin.
one?
It sucks up that Anakin guy into the fire tornado.
Yeah, I remember. Oh,
it's called Outbreak, or it's like a whole bunch of outbreak of tornadoes.
Yeah, it's relatively new. It had Sarah from The Walking Dead in it. Fire tornado movie. You gotta look it up. I remember. Look, when I was
it also
a kid,
reminds me of Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, it's called 13 Minutes.
No way. Into the Storm. It's called Into the Storm.
Where do you see that?
Down there. Yeah.
Okay. There is a whole movie called Fire Twister, right? But where there's like outbreaks of tornadoes and whatnot. Into the Storm was the name of the one that we were referring to.
Night of the Twister was a big one when I was growing up with Devin Sawa.
I don't know if you guys saw that or remember that, but a lot of this, almost predictive, you know what I mean, kind of protest. All right, protest, predictive programming. True Celtic, what's up, brother? Very good to see you, man. Where was I? Some areas may see multiple rounds of rain and thunderstorms. Storms that develop across much of the Mississippi Valley will likely be moving quickly, meaning if a warning is issued where you are, then you should be ready to take shelter immediately. At least a few severe thunderstorms might linger in the morning in the eastern Great Lakes. A few strong to severe thunderstorms are possible Saturday afternoon and evening in the Northeast. Isolated severe storms are also possible Saturday near the southeast coast. Damaging thunderstorm wind gusts will be the main concern, but a tornado or two cannot be ruled out, and some hail is possible in the southeast. There will also be strong winds not associated with thunderstorms in the Midwest and east as the strong low pressure system sweeps through. Just be prepared, guys. Have you some bottled water,
Yep.
for the storms and whatnot, because
Yep.
you may have to, bug out. And what do they say? Getting to the center of the home,
Away from windows.
away from windows.
A basement if you have it, which most of the United States has basements, or
No,
the capability of basements. Yes.
Most of the folks around here don't.
Well, yeah, because we live in a water,
Hmm.
We live in the swamp.
Yes, a minute detail. No one can forget that terrible story. Ask away, True Celtic Mutt, please. Okay. So, prayers for that.
Yes.
Prayers for the whole nation.
Yes.
We're praying for our nation. We need the Lord. Powerful 7.0 magnitude earthquake strikes Papua New Guinea. Can you say that better? Papua New Guinea? Papua.
No, it's
Papua.
yeah.
Papua.
Papua New
Papua.
Guinea. Yep.
Who do I remember
Papua.
saying? Is it Larry the Cable Guy?
Papua.
No, it's Larry the Cable Guy, where he's like, forgive me for saying that, Father, and bless all them pygmies down there in Papua New Guinea.
What?
Whenever he would say a joke that was like too offensive, he would say that. He would say that. I'm not gonna say it again.
I don't
You just have to
get it.
rewind it and listen.
I don't get
Bless
it.
all them pygmies down there in Papua New Guinea.
The pygmies?
Yeah, pygmy people. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you meant like pygmy goats.
Well, we have pygmy goats. Anyway, I've got myself in trouble here. A powerful earthquake.
It's so over my head.
With a preliminary magnitude of 7.0 has struck Papua New Guinea. Seismologists say there is no threat of tsunami, but details about damage or casualties are not yet available. Lord, pray for these folks, y'all. We need our prayer warriors tonight. Okay, a 7.3. Chew. Steve says Oklahoma, Texas, and LA have never heard of basements.
What?
Never.
No, Oklahoma, there's no possible way.
Remember, each house has 40 gallons of bottled water. It's called a water heater. Boom. Roasted.
I have been to basements in Oklahoma.
Okay, well, that's weird.
There's no possible way.
Okay, well, maybe.
Texas and Louisiana, I can totally understand. But
let's see. True Celtic Mutt. Did anyone else notice that the Louisville pew pew incident that the girl? Not Louisville. Went into the office in Pumas and was in Vans when yeah, I saw that. I wasn't terribly convinced that because the first shoes that I saw, perhaps, I don't have the software to zoom in on them and make it like, enhance.
Right.
But it's not that conspiratorial.
Yeah.
Patsies have been used in the past.
Absolutely.
You could have some MK person in there doing the thing and then some fall guy. I don't know. You know what I mean? Or fall gal. I don't know. But prayers for everyone affected by that.
That's right. Steve says you were in the only basement in Oklahoma, ma'am.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, to be fair, it was a storm shelter, but I'm just saying.
How about that, huh? Boom. Basements aren't a big thing in SoCal either. They're not a big thing, babe. That's only up north where y'all are afraid of tornadoes and stuff. Everybody else is out here just doing
absolutely blown right now.
Most of them.
I really did think that. Okay, because all my friends in North Dakota had basements.
In North Dakota,
everybody had basements, and my family in Indiana has everybody has basements. Okay, so that's pretty much everywhere, right?
That's pretty much everywhere, I suppose. Let's see. Remember when NorCal had a fire NATO? There's a video on YouTube. Yeah, I believe it.
We don't have basements here in Virginia Beach. Okay, guys. Well, then here's our problem. All right, we have too many tornadoes in this nation to not be having basements. We need to reevaluate our situation.
Well, I don't know. Basement. I mean, if the house gets sucked up off the basement, are you still safe?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm not gonna.
Because you're under the stairs, and the stairs don't get sucked up usually.
Okay. According to VNO News, the earthquake, which struck at 3:04 a.m. local time on Monday, was centered in Chambry Lake, about 37 kilometers east of Abunti, or 96 kilometers southwest of Wewak, the capital of East Sepik province. Not good with this Papua New Guinea. The U.S. Geological Survey said the earthquake measured 7.0, a significant downgrade from earlier estimates of 7.3 and 7.9. It struck about 62 kilometers below the surface, making it a fairly deep earthquake. I wish we had a basement too, dude. Yeah.
If we can have pools, why can't we have basements?
Well, you know.
This is upsetting to me. I don't know why this is upsetting to me, but I really have lived most of my life thinking that most people had basements.
Based on all available data, a destructive Pacific-wide tsunami is not expected. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center said in a statement, details about damage or casualties from the remote region were not immediately available. The USGS estimated that up to 4.5 million people could have felt the quake, including 466,000 people who may have felt strong to very strong shaking. Earthquakes in the mountainous nation, which is on the Pacific Ring of Fire, do rarely cause major damage because many structures in the region are light and flexible. This allows them to bend rather than snap. When a major earthquake occurs, however, earthquakes in Papua New Guinea are capable of causing major landslides, which is what I was thinking. I was like, is there going to be anything left? It sounds like it would bury them. What do I know? All right.
I know that if you have a bad earthquake and it's like sandy area, it can turn into quicksand. Isn't that terrifying?
That is awful. That is truly awful. I went back and examined the footage. There was a clear Vans rubber tag on the back heel of the shoes in the beginning. She was never wearing Pumas. Don't degrade my Pumas like that. Yeah, I heard Puma folks coming out strong. They're like,
we have no sand.
Not cool enough for Pumas, dude. Okay. She was not cool enough for Pumas. Okay. Storm shelters were just repurposed root cellars for storing the harvest. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I had me a root cellar. But they say where we live specifically down here, you guys know in New Orleans, you can't bury your dead, right? And that if we were to bury our dead, that when a bad storm or rain comes, that I don't know how it works, it would push the coffins up out of the ground, and if you were to try to do a basement, that it would essentially, the water would cave the basement in, like it wouldn't work, and it would always flood. Even if it was strong enough, the water would find a way in. That's just what I've been told my entire life. Karen says, I believe basements or cellars were originally used for food storage. That's awesome. That's actually an awesome point. Axel shared that as well. As I said, we are only at a high point at 44 foot above sea level. Most of the land surrounding VA Beach is swamp. Yeah, and we're definitely
my gosh.
What?
I looked up an article about where are basements common, and it's just a little spot in the Midwest.
So you're
Look, it says, on average, in the United States, basements are most commonly found in the Midwest. This includes states such as Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Iowa, Missouri. Expect to find basements in areas that are susceptible to tornadoes for the purpose of shelter or a frost line. That's such a little portion of the U.S.
A little portion.
But then everybody I know in Indiana, you know what? I can't believe anything anymore.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, you get twice the house when you have a basement. That's how I felt. Basements are to get below the frost line in winter. What?
The 7 states that house the majority of the United States' basements can be found in the Midwest, and here they are. North Dakota, that was me. South Dakota, Iowa, Nebraska, Missouri, Kansas. Well, Georgia has basements. Yes, Georgia for the win. Indiana has basements. I know that.
What is this? G&G. Yep, have that. Oh,
What does G&G
It
mean?
means golfing guns.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm a dork.
My bad, guys. We're slow. Get a spare pump if you can tomorrow. Okay, awesome. Okay. Well, good. I'm glad y'all got that squared.
Pennsylvania has basements. Yes.
What?
All right.
You know what? That's actually true. I know a couple guys in Pennsylvania, and they do. I can attest to that. They do have basements.
Yes, that is awesome.
Yeah.
I lived so I made my basement my room, and I loved it, and so I'm passionate about basements. Basement dweller. Here I am.
Oh, we got someone from Syracuse, and every house I have ever been in has a basement. Okay.
Yes, that's
All
what
right.
I'm
Awesome.
saying.
Awesome.
All right.
I'm
All
glad
right,
we got some
cool.
clarification on this issue.
I don't know why this was passionate for me, but I'm
No,
serious.
it's a big deal because it's like you think the world is one way,
Right.
right? And then you learn that actually,
I need to know what Tennessee's stance is on basements. Do they have them? I don't know.
yes, license. My dad had one of those. I don't know how I didn't wind up with it, but I love those, and I wish I could find one.
I grew up partially in Colorado too, and I don't remember ever seeing a basement there.
Anyone who considers needing to store water, look up water bobs. They are a water bladder that go in your bathtub and hold something like 80 gallons.
That's right.
That's very cool.
That's right. We have one of those, although why? We have so much water.
Well, no, I mean, it's a good last ditch effort in a situation where if you for instance, Axel said that there's 40 gallons in your hot water heater, depending on the size of your hot water heater. And you could drain that out even if the power's out,
right?
Or the well. See, for us, when the power goes out, the well is out. You know what I mean?
New England has basements. Maine, New Hampshire, yes. Massachusetts,
they got basements in North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay, all right. I'm calming down. Woosah. All right, it's all good. So really, just the coastals. Coastals are like no go for basements.
Personally,
and Oklahoma for some reason. Weird. This article says Oklahoma, but I believe you. I believe that. I would believe that. I don't know why they have so many tornadoes. They should.
Yeah, they should.
And I went to a storm shelter, but
I would like to, because I'm so stubborn and people say I can't. I would like to install a basement here where I live, even though they're like, no, I can't do it. Can't do it. Literally can't do it, man. You know what I mean? Because the ground will push the walls in. That's
Michigan
what they say.
has basements. You mean an indoor pool?
Michigan basements.
Central Virginia, I hear, have basements, but that's in the mountains. Yes.
City water is generally pressurized by electric pumps.
And tainted with...
poisoned. I mean, in a way. For your mind.
Oklahoma on fire. What?
Oklahoma!
Is it really? It's coming up on wildfire season, but not for a couple more months.
Let's see. I have a tankless on-demand water hot. They are becoming even more popular in newly constructed homes. Absolutely. I see them everywhere. I see like it turned into a status symbol down here where essentially if you don't have the tankless, that you're not cool because the tankless, they're hot on demand. And
yeah, I want one really bad.
Very, very hot.
But I do now in this conversation
realize that it's a good thing to have 40 gallons stored away, But
I still want a tankless, but yeah, you're right. You're right.
But yeah, I mean, I wish we did have a tankless. Because like I said, it is a status symbol around here. I don't know why.
License, that is awesome.
Oh, dude, love it.
That is awesome.
Love it. Love it. Love the whole moon clip situation. That's awesome. That's so cool. It is on fire already. Wildfires, spot fires. What? Prove it.
Hot water never runs out. That sounds lovely.
That's why they're popular.
This dystopia does have some perks. Okay.
Lord, dystopia. Okay. Magnitude 4.2 earthquake rattles Palomar Mountain in San Diego County. You guys watch out. Let's see. A magnitude 4.2 earthquake occurred at 6:16 p.m. Friday, roughly 3 miles northwest of Palomar Observatory, causing shaking across San Diego County and beyond. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, according to the San Diego Union Tribune, the trembler, is that what y'all call it? Trembler. What is the trembler? What is that? Trembler. Which was initially reported to be 4.5, began 9 miles beneath the Earth's surface and was generated by the Elsinore fault system.
Elsinore.
Okay, my bad.
I could be wrong. I just wanted to be eccentric.
This happened on an unnamed smaller fault that's part of the Elsinore, said San Diego State University seismologist Tom Rockwell.
Yay, a name I can pronounce. Woohoo!
It is beneath Palomar Mountain in an area of granitic rock. Cool. An aftershock in the 3.0 range could occur, and there will be several smaller aftershocks. The USGS said online that the seismic shaking occurred throughout most of Southern California, reaching as far northwest as the Santa Monica area of Los Angeles County and to the eastern side of the Salton Sea. The shaking was not in downtown San Diego, where the Padres were preparing for a 6:40 p.m. game against the Colorado Rockies at Petco Park. Everything's lost its soul. Okay. Staples Center, Petco Park. Like, can it not be? What happened to, like, I don't know. Down here we have the Superdome. They try to rename it, right? They try to say it's the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Nah, buddy, no.
That's right.
No, everybody leaves the Mercedes-Benz part out.
Right.
Can you hand me that drink?
I can.
I am parched.
I drank most of it.
Cool.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Not overly far from me, but don't think I felt that. But I suppose it could contribute to the vertigo. Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Let's see. Never be sorry for that, Steve. That's a very positive direction you've taken. Let's see. A quake of this magnitude is not uncommon in Southern California. They occur regularly along the Brawley seismic zone near the Salton Sea. Quakes measuring 4.6 and 4.9 occurred nearly Brawley in 2020. Okay.
Remember a couple of years ago when there was like all those swarm earthquakes? Man, I really thought there was going to be the big one. I'm so happy there wasn't, but I was really, that was concerning.
I have a solution. Petco Park should be somewhere for people to take their dogs. That's right. I mean, what else do you do with a place called Petco Park? Other than play with your pets or something. I'm just not sure. Independent Mini. Indy, what's up? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Okay. Is it lame? Is it lame if I ask her to rewind and watch the beginning?
Well, if she stays till the end, or maybe.
No, you can rewind it.
Yeah, rewind it.
Okay, Indy, I'm gonna be really lame for a second. All right, can you rewind it and watch our beginning and tell me what you think?
Totally don't have to though. You just stay with us. We can chit chat. Talk about all this craziness that's going on.
Slid down into the sea and look up Sunken City, San Pedro, California. Phew.
Slid down into the sea. Actually, somewhere in Oregon, there's this like it's like a whole. It's so apocalyptic, man.
Oh, good. A minute detail. I didn't know if you had or not. I was like, well, I won't. But then you do it too.
What are we talking about?
I'm being cheesy about the intro.
In Oregon, I saw there's this like neighborhood where houses are just like falling off,
That one fell. Look, see it. Oh, that's terrible. Are those like pilings that were put in to keep it from sinking?
You
What's
know,
up, Liza?
I don't know. Liza, what's up? Good to see you. Nice to see you. I mean, this is just so. Look at that. And if that's a bedroom, can you imagine?
Do you think people still live in there? No, probably not, right?
Yeah, probably.
No, that would just be a Louisiana thing. Louisiana people would still live in there.
Home nearly about to fall off cliff is on market for $850,000.
You've got to be kidding me.
No, I'm not kidding you.
Beachfront property.
Well, beach fall property. You have to fall to get to the beach.
Good night, Louise.
Um,
That is absolutely horrifying. That is too far. That is too far. That's like the cliffs of Moore. Okay.
and this is in Oregon.
No.
Okay. And it's all just falling off.
Oh my god.
Entire neighborhoods.
It makes my palms sweaty.
It's odd. I think I just got rid of an article or something.
No.
Yeah,
That's
I
okay.
did. Well, that's the end of that point. Okay.
If you build on a cliff face, don't pretend to be surprised when it collapses. Axel, you could totally be surprised. You don't know if it's going to happen in the morning or at night. It could totally shock you. Liza says, we'll rent them till they fall. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. It makes
Hope
my
you're not in it.
stomach turn.
Let me see. The story of Oregon's ghost town that fell into the sea. Now, what did License say that there was a whole nother San Pedro, California? What is it? Basically the same thing?
Sunken City.
Pedro.
No, look up the Sunken City, San Pedro, California. Sunken City. Down. Sunken City of San Pedro. I can't.
Is it basically the same thing?
Whoa, no, go up. Okay, go
Where?
all the way to the right, and that up one up there.
That's pretty crazy. Let me look. We'll just do this. Look up the sunken city of San Pedro in Los Angeles, where geology meets art. Okay. Located next to the Point Furman Lighthouse, about 9 miles southwest of Long Beach and very near Rancho Palos Verdes. What does that mean?
Ranch. I don't know what Palos means, but Verde is green.
I know that, yeah. You'll find one of the most intriguing places in all California. The sunken city of San Pedro is what remains of a devastating, slow-moving landslide that began moving in 1929. Over the next couple decades, large area of land on the coast began abruptly sliding into the sea, spurring the prompt evacuation of those who had once peacefully resided in the area's cheery bungalows. Fortunately, everyone got out safely due to the slow progress of the slide, and even most of the homes were saved, but a few of the old bungalows went crashing into the ocean. There is just something. Look at that. It's like a sewer system. You know?
Axel says something house built on sand, something.
That's
which is
100%
of course, referencing the Bible verses.
Yeah.
Don't build your house on
Jesus
sand.
said that. Okay, let me see here. Turn to an impromptu Bible study. Okay, therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon the house, and it fell. And great was the fall of it. Wait a second. I mean, look at the parallels here. Like, this is some pretty great falling, Like, if you had to literally put it to a picture, look at this. You know what I mean? Like, that's a great fall.
I do see how they could VRBO it maybe for a night or two just because of the view. But at your own risk. Like, you would have to sign so many
No, ma'am.
liability.
No, ma'am. And look, it's all sand.
Look at that one. That one already had stuff fall.
And
You
there's
see
still,
down
it
there?
looks like, oh, there's
Zoom in.
boards up around the house. See the boards.
Oh, that one. They're like, don't even go into this one.
There's boards up around it, or fences. I don't know. Can I zoom in? Where do you want to see?
That one that fell.
That's as far as I can zoom.
Oh, okay.
And hence, see, everyone, when you say that, people expect that, yeah. Anyway, it's fun to, all right. So, okay.
Oh, yay. Thank you, Indy.
Oh, thank you, Indy. Yeah, my internet. It's totally possible my internet lags. What happened? What happened?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. Dude, thank you.
Yeah, so I'm trying to talk Landon into adding a few more things because we didn't even get into some of the award ceremonies and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And the sterilizations and stuffs. So I'm hoping we will.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to it. All right. CDC sounds the alarm regarding Marburg virus. This word, as you would say, virus. After deadly Africa outbreak, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is urging travelers to Guinea. I'm sorry, I thought that was weird. We just read about Papua New Guinea, but I guess this is a different Guinea. And Tanzania to be mindful of contacting the deadly Marburg virus. The CDC is also sending personnel to Africa to assist stopping the outbreak of the disease. According to the Fox News, the Marburg virus is an infectious disease that has high fatality rates, and according to the World Health Organization, has epidemic potential. The CDC announced that it is sending its National Center for Emerging and Zoonotic Infectious Disease to respond to the outbreaks in Guinea and Tanzania.
You know, the thing is, when the WHO says it has epidemic potential, we hear it as like, oh no, watch out, it has epidemic potential. And they're like, it has potential,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, kind of.
It's actually hilarious. Bat soup. A new bat stew flu.
Just in time for 2024.
Great, more bats.
Right. I think bats are really cute. Look at how cute that little guy is.
Get out of here, man. Get a puppy.
Adorable.
This week, the CDC urged travelers in Guinea and Tanzania to avoid contact with sick people, healthcare facilities in the outbreak areas, and to watch for symptoms for 3 weeks after leaving the area. In February, Equatorial...
3 weeks now. It was only 2 weeks with the COOF.
Ooh. Where are we? Equatorial Guinea announced the first outbreak of the virus, and the country has since counted officially 9 cases with an additional 20 probable cases, all of whom have died, according to the World Health Organization, which, they've had phony numbers before, just saying, about 1,800 miles away, which, that's the thing. I always thought that if this was a scamdemic, the first one,
yeah,
that something more serious would eventually come along.
Absolutely.
But that's not to say that that's what this is. That's just to say,
And the timeline matches up. About 4 years ago, we were hearing, the first outbreaks of the COOF.
Let's see.
You know, it's so interesting you say that, Celtic Mutt, because I was just reading an article about a guy who, he gave his goat to the state fair and they barbecued it. So now he's suing because he didn't mean for them to barbecue it. It was just supposed to be a award-winning goat.
Love barbecue goat.
And
I've got some goats. I don't know if y'all know that. I have one that I would barbecue like that. I just have to make sure it's not pregnant first.
Oh my gosh.
Betty? Now all of a sudden you're on Team Betty?
Well, I just love the goats now a lot.
Okay. Well, my bad. Never mind. Won't be having any barbecued goat around here. Got a lot of goat's milk, though. Anybody wanting some goat milk, holler at me. Free samples, free tasting. See what that's like. Anyway, we're going to be making some soap soon. Unspecified soap where it's very specific. I don't know. The virus is a rare and deadly disease that causes fever, chills, muscle pain, rash, sore throat, diarrhea, weakness, or unexplained bleeding or bruising. That's exactly what you said about the Wuhan wiggle the
Not
first
the
time.
unexplained bleeding and bruising.
I'm just joking. Let's see.
Sounds
According to the
like,
CDC, the Marburg virus can be spread through the blood or body fluids of a person infected with or who has died from Marburg. The virus is also spread by contact with contaminated objects such as clothing, bedding, needles, and medical equipment.
Clothing?
Or by contact with animals such as bats.
Clothing? That's a little...
that's the whole thing about this bat thing. Doesn't it remind you of think about it. Okay.
That's a big... I'm sorry to go ahead.
Witches put in different stuff,
Right.
Like frogs and snakes and bats and stuff.
That's a cute little bat. That's a big jump. Like it can be
What
contracted.
is so cute about it?
Its face.
Face, nose, ears, what?
Yeah, look, it looks like it's rubbing its little eyeball.
Black eyes like a doll's eyes. It rolls over
don't
white
look
when
at
they
the negative. It's cute. Cute, it's furry. It's like a little flying dog. Okay.
Goat butts one too many times. Boom, barbecue. That's right.
Okay. Wait, okay, that's a big jump. It's like it can be contracted via blood or clothing.
Barbecue Betty the goat.
Oh.
We have folks in favor officially.
Oh.
That goat was in Shasta County. It was sold for meat. Then the kid who raised it started crying. Oh my gosh, come on. Okay. Ooh, I could go for some Betty barbecue. Y'all are making me hungry. Oh my gosh.
Y'all are monsters.
Reminds me of, I don't know, 2020.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So anyway, the symptoms sound a little bit more Ebola-like than the common cold that we were locked down over in 2020. The bleeding, that's concerning. Do you remember West Nile virus? Look, Greta's all upset about climate change. I was in high school freaking out about West Nile virus. That stuff turns your insides into liquid. Do you know how scary that was? I wanted to go to Egypt. I'm like, no, I can't go near the Nile.
Hey.
Monsters get hungry too.
Monsters get hungry too. Betty comes for a visit. I promise she will be in a vinegar pass sauce
within the hour.
I mean, that's the most terrible blue-eyed goat I ever met in my life.
Yeah, she is. And she's got, I don't know if anybody has ever watched this.
She has bells.
Horrible. No.
They're
Hold
called...
on. I need to preface this. If anybody has seen this absolute atrocity of a movie called Project 41, I couldn't even get all the way through it. It's just vulgar. It's terrible. Okay. It's your favorite actors being terrible. Okay. But anyway, in this one scene, Hugh Jackman has testicles on his neck. Okay. And I don't know why.
Wait.
He's going out to dinner with Kate Winslet, and he's got balls on his neck for whatever reason. And she's the only one who cares about his balls on his neck. And anyway, that's what I think of every time that I sit. It's so bad. Every time. It's so gross. Every time I see Betty, that's what I see. Because she has balls on her neck.
She has bells. They're not balls.
Wait, what? Yeah, no, don't watch it, guys. It's not good. Okay, it's like a movie composed of little skits. And the little skits include Hugh Jackman with balls or Chris Pratt and Anna Faris and dirty stuff. You know, it's just bad. It's like, you know how
No,
some
it's not a
people-
good movie, man.
You know how some people think that like some people being me think that like most Hollywood celebrities are, you know, kind of like bought and paid for, like they belong to something. And well, I also think that there's like, you know, so I think that this is one of those movies that they didn't have a choice in. They were like, no, you're going to do this.
Well, anyway, goats
No,
can
that's
have
a terrible example. Hers are much more round than that.
hers are a lot like this, but
Just show the picture of Hugh Jackman, and that's what they look like.
there we go. They're a lot like this. You know, they have the goat, the bells. You know what I mean? I thought they were called. My son said that that's what they were called.
Yes, that's
But she is an all black goat. There we go. That would be
yeah, that's hers.
This is a lot like hers. Okay. Now this hour of goat content has been brought to you by
they're called bells. They don't really have a point.
yeah, that's the thing. You know, that's what I thought. I was like, what are those things? What are the point of those?
Liza says, "Don't watch it." Me, hold my beer. Okay, but you're gonna regret it. Okay, and you
It's
can come
just
back
not
and tell
good.
us.
It's not good. I didn't love it. I'm sure, you know, back in the day.
Yeah, in my 20s, I probably would have thought it was funny. But now, look, I feel like well, that's not a good. There's scenes where she's disgusted, and that's oh gosh, I'm really disgusted by this. It's so bad.
Wait.
Okay, I'm gonna be right back.
Oh no.
We're gonna get striked.
I hope not. It's not real. I mean, well, it's possible, I suppose. Let's see what else. I bet they are for the emission of musk. Oh, probably. My horse had WN, and my best friend 2 years later, horse had it. Both were all under 2 years old. Had number 1 Jabadoodle. What? We were waiting for number 2, but then decided not to do it. I'm so confused. I have to explain. Don't trust beasts with cloven hooves. I felt that way. When I bought my goats, I was like, I don't know here. See, I don't know. I definitely don't know if I trust them. They're out for number 1. Like how a male Billy will pee on his beard to attract ladies. No, dude, he will literally pee straight on the faces of all the goats. He will pee on his face, on their face. You have to remove him or otherwise. And it's so weird. I didn't know that he could direct his pee. Okay. So, like, you know, he can pee straight forward or he can pee at an angle. He can direct it. I mean, I don't understand. Okay.
Yeah,
goats-
license says goats have the eyes of Satan. It took me actually a few years to come around to having goats because I was so like, nope. But I do. They're
her
lovable.
horse had West Nile. Okay, thank you so much for
Oh.
clarifying that. I'm sorry to hear that. That's terrible. Both were all under 2 years old. That's terrible. They had number 1 Jabadoodle. Okay, got it now. Back the V word.
Oh yeah.
We were waiting for number 2, but then decided not to do it.
I have a gnarly goat story, but I'm not going to text it. License, what do you need, man? Do you want the link? You need to come on and tell it. Like, you can't just leave us hanging.
I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. There you go. What
was talked about while I was gone?
I'm not sure, to be quite honest. Hope your boys like the lamb, not that picky. I love lamb. I'm gonna be quite honest. Okay.
I didn't used to like lamb because I think it's kind of gamey, but if you season it just right, it can be really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Praying for the horses, man.
I don't know how we got from Marburg to talking
About these here bat things, man. I don't know. Liza, have a good night. Hey, it's so good to see you. Thank you for your prayers. Anyway, let's see what we do here. Kentucky becomes latest state to ban puberty blockers and the sex change surgeries for kids. So that's kind of that's a win.
And tonight here at 11 o'clock, it is the new law in Kentucky, and it is making national headlines. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Prophet. Kentucky lawmakers passing one of the strictest anti-trans bills in the country today, impacting transgender minors from banning access to gender-affirming health care to restricting the bathrooms they can use. WHS 1119's Connor Steffen and photojournalists Philip Merle and Ian Hardwick have all sides with new comments tonight.
The fight over a new Kentucky law, one of the strictest in the nation.
Keep marching, keep fighting.
From Kentucky's youngest and loudest. Trading in the classroom for the Capitol.
I know it wasn't easy to get here, so I just want you to hear me say thank you.
I just wanted to come out to be just like an ally and a representative of what actually Kentucky means and what Kentucky represents.
This was the site outside the Capitol Annex, several hundred protesting Kentucky's sweeping anti-trans legislation. A feet away inside the Capitol Rotunda.
That sounded like a military.
Yeah, why don't they think about what they're like? Take a step back from your grandstand, And so there's a whole all right.
What do you think that this means? Because
I operate from the side of maybe I'm wrong.
Right.
Right.
Tennessee had a similar bill, and then we said, so do you think that we'll see? I don't know. All right, continue. I'm sorry.
Today we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to finish the job began months ago.
Dozens of bill supporters were on their feet for GOP lawmakers as they reaffirmed their hopes and shared gratitude.
For the prayers to stand for parents and to stand for children, that we will protect them in the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
Its fate ultimately fell into the hands of Kentucky's Republican supermajority. It easily collected enough votes in both chambers to override the governor's veto, but not before this. Protesters uniting arms in the House gallery above before KSP removed them. 19 people were arrested and cited for criminal trespassing. Senator Karen Berg of Louisville was one of 8 no votes in the Senate. She had this message to share with Kentucky's queer youth.
Do not hurt yourself, and God forbid you not go out and hurt somebody else over this.
Supporters say the new law empowers parents and protects children.
Protect our rights to know what is happening to our students in public schools and protect our sons and daughters in their most vulnerable spaces.
Critics, though, say lawmakers' actions will have deadly consequences.
That's one of the reasons I do this, is because all of this hate is coming from people that don't know a transgender person.
A legislative win for some lawmakers in Frankfurt, fueling others to continue the fight in the courts. Connor Steffen for the
Seemed like that girl didn't even know what she was talking about. She just barely was able to keep up with that. I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry.
She's passionate.
To continue the fight.
No, she doesn't even know what the words are.
In the courts. Connor Steffen.
She was a good bit behind what I was hearing.
Yeah.
She's just, being essentially, and she's not like a focused target or anything, but Hunger Games, how she became a propaganda piece for the resistance.
Yeah.
She's like, I've got the camera on me. I better look like Mockingjay or whatever her name is. You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
For the WHS 1119 on your side.
Okay. All right. Okay. The gov here in Kentucky had 12 Chinese delegates at its inauguration. That look in those eyes. Whoa, easy with the pronouns, bud. Oh yeah, easy with the pronouns there, bud. Okay. Kentucky has become the latest state to ban puberty-blocking drugs and body-mutilating sex change surgeries for youth younger than 18 after lawmakers overrode a veto by Democratic Gov. Andy Beshear, which is awesome. That's awesome. According to the Christian Post, the Republican-led legislature overwhelmingly voted to override Beshear's veto. I'm sorry if I don't know this person's name. Sorry, guys. On Senate Bill 150 Wednesday, voting 29-8 in the Senate, followed by 76-23 votes in the House. Kentucky State Police arrested 19 protesters who were in the House gallery during the proceedings in response to their refusal to stop shouting and chanting after they had been told to keep quiet, reported Politico. I think it's unfortunate that it reached that level, and certainly they were given, as I've been told since then, multiple opportunities to either quiet their chants or to leave voluntarily, said Republican House Speaker David Osborne, as quoted by Politico. The American Principles Project, a socially conservative organization, celebrated the bill's passage, noting that it makes Kentucky the 13th state to pass such measures. So it's like the balkanization, right? Like we're seeing the split up.
Right. Yeah.
And what a silly thing to be split up over during such. I mean, let's look at the picture bigger than just our own nation. And we're split up on that too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So we need prayers, our whole nation. We need, we need the Father. Because Jesus is the only one who can make any sense out of this. Right. No one man is going to make any sense out of this. Let's see. Look up concept of perfect possession. That's someone that was willingly gave themselves to be. Ooh, that's not good. Praying God will show us in Kentucky mercy when the big judgment comes to USA for trying our best to do what's right.
Amen.
Hey, I got a verse about that later on. I can come on if and when you want. Okay, cool. I'm glad you said something because I had no idea. 18 years old, just like voting and military service. 18 deemed adult,
but not old enough to buy cigarettes.
Right. So good on you, Kentucky.
Yes. Yeah.
That is really good news. Good news. Watch, and this is just another sign of the times here. Video surface of middle schoolers fighting in class while teacher watches.
But armor up, yeah, because like I haven't seen it yet.
This is probably going to try and
right. It's going to try to upset you, emotionally.
Get you upset, and
don't let it.
Yeah, armor up against that. Say, get behind me, Satan, in Jesus' name. We're not going to let this. Father, please let the Spirit renew our thoughts and our attitudes, as in Ephesians 4:23. So let's see, Clayton County Middle School.
Yeah, so Karen, imagine that you are a parent and you drop your kid at this middle school to help that they're learning something, only to find out that there are fight clubs going on inside the classroom, apparently while that teacher is watching. Parents I talk to tell me this has to stop. It seems like you're watching Fight Club videos from a movie or even TV. But no, parents tell me these are videos recorded from inside Rex Middle School here in Clayton County. Channel 2 Action News obtained one video after another, showing middle school students throwing punch after punch after punch, while it appears that the teacher is watching. At times, she even asked the question, do you know how to slap box?
So I pay taxes for you to teach them how to slap box?
Tatiana Colvin tells me she has a child here at Rex Middle School, and she saw the video.
I pay taxes for you to teach these kids that the way that they resolve conflict is with violence.
But what makes her sick to her stomach is that
every kid in those videos just may get cut out, but they were African American young black men. That's a double not okay. They can't think that behavior is okay?
I also spoke with one educator here at the middle school. She did not want to be identified, but she says she reported the incident and the teacher to the higher ups several times.
As an educator, my job is I am a mandated reporter. I am supposed to speak out no matter what.
I did reach out to Clayton County Schools. They released this statement. It says, the leadership of Clayton County Public Schools and Rex Mill Middle School are aware of the allegations that have been made. The district and school are following standard protocol in reviewing the allegations. As this is an ongoing investigation, the district is reserving any further comments. Meanwhile, Coleman demands something to be done now.
She needs to be fired. Her license needs to be taken. And she needs to be under arrest for child abuse.
Now,
my thought was immediately like, you know, uninterested in the curriculum, or the curriculum was just too easy. And, you know, that these teachers these days, you just see that, you know, they get bored and that this is entertaining.
Yeah, I don't know, because it didn't look like vicious fighting. It looked like kids, like, I'll be honest, it looked like they were having a good time, but that's not what we are sending our kids to school for. So, you know, I can kind of see both sides.
I'm not talking about whether or not they're having fun. This is extracurricular.
Right.
Okay. That you should be, you know, being educated in the classroom.
Right.
You notice you had to move all those desks that you're supposed to be sitting at out of the way. You know what I mean? Yeah, totally agree with the parent. Yeah, 100%. And you know, it's just, that's extracurricular.
Right. The teacher definitely should have known better. If this was kids doing this on the, you know, on the schoolyard or something, because the reason I'm not so against is it looks like, you know, both, or in some cases all three parties were, you know, willing participants. I have seen videos recently of kids like just flat out pummeling other kids that they are not willing participants. They're not trying to be a part of it. They're just minding their own business.
I know, but what do you think this is going to breed?
Right.
What do you think they're going to think about in the next class?
Right.
Other teacher lets us move the table, lets us move the desks out the way.
Right. Or this is acceptable, you know.
Right. It's acceptable. So like now, if they've got a problem with somebody, maybe instead of having self-discipline, they just come across their desk and start slapboxing in the middle of a class. I mean, no, this isn't, but you know, I'm not an educated, look, you know, I'm just, you know.
Give them gloves.
That's right.
And box in the gym. That's the way it's meant to be. Yeah.
That's the way it's meant to be. That's the way it's meant to be, with guided direction,
right,
and a referee.
My
you know what I mean?
My draw and hearken to, you know, the old times. That is how, you know, if you had a problem with somebody, that is how you handled it, was, you know. But in today's day and age, you can't trust people to just, you know, okay, well, you know, we may have to duke it out a little bit. No, now it's like, well, you know, there's too much pride and ego involved, and it goes to a deadly level. Whereas before it was just, you know, you get kind of a, you know, you get your butt kicked and you learn a lesson. And so like, there's part of me that's like, you know, it is in especially male nature. I am not a toxic masculinity person. So in my opinion, you know, it is in male nature to, you know, to, I don't know how to say this, because like, I'm not advocating for violence.
No, boys will be boys.
Right.
It's totally okay for them to do this, but not in the classroom environment, not with the teacher. Wrong place, wrong time.
Right. Okay. I agree with that. Yeah.
Wrong place, wrong time. And then what's up with this teacher? What kind of teachers do we have?
Right.
What's going on?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
What is this a sign of elsewhere? Right.
Birdie boy, meet me at the flagpole, you ninny. Yep,
that's right. That's right. That's right. That's absolutely right. Okay. I know teachers, the level of violence and other depravity in school is astonishing. I 100%. I believe it. I believe it's sad, actually. Oh my gosh, I'll remember that.
Oh, that's right.
Oh no.
That's right.
No, not if supervised with and not to sound sexist, a male supervising experienced who can give pointers, tips, break it up, You know what I mean?
Yep.
Some supervision, but someone in the corner talking about, can you slap box? Do you know what you do?
Right.
Okay. All right. Growing up, we had a boxing ring set up in our backyard. That's awesome. When we had conflict, my dad would take us in the backyard and we would lace up the gloves. Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. I would be okay with self-defense and gym class. That's right. Let's see how about anyone gets out of your seat? It's detention.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
Birdie Boy says the thing is, once they leave the school, teacher can't do a thing. That's right.
Right. That's the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay. So, are you ready for this one? Get your tinfoil hat. You ready?
Yes.
Get it? All right. Chinese genetic experiment may lead to army of radiation-resistant super soldiers. Okay. You ready for this?
It was only a matter of time.
Reports out of China continue to confirm that scientists there are still seeking to push through barriers with Frankenstein-like experimentation on genes with an eye toward the manipulation of human DNA. Any and all ethical considerations be danged. What could go wrong? According to Zero Hedge, what's up?
I just can only imagine the experiments that have gone on thus far. That's heartbreaking. But hopefully it's not as bad as what I'm thinking.
What this?
Yeah, I mean, like,
Oh, it could be bad.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe they're doing the experiments on animals. Not that that's okay, but it's better than a person.
Animal cannot be super soldier.
Oh, yeah.
Animal cannot take orders.
Like, that's terrible.
Let's see what's up. The Hong-based South China Morning Post has a doozy of a headline out this week based on a breakthrough announcement by a team of scientists linked to the Chinese military working in Beijing. Chinese team behind extreme animal gene therapy. There you go. Animal gene therapy experiment says it may lead to super soldiers who survive nuclear fallout.
It's part of the 100-year takeover plan.
Yeah. The project was first unveiled in the Chinese language journal Military Medical Sciences and has been gaining more and more media attention and interest within the scientific community, but is also raising serious ethical quandaries despite the experiment being defended by its overseas as totally legal. Sorry about that. Butchered that. Serious ethical quandaries, despite the experiment being defended by its overseers as totally legal. According to details, the military scientists say they've successfully inserted a gene from the microscopic water bear into human embryonic stem cells and significantly increased their cells' resistance to radiation. They said success in the unprecedented experiment could lead to super tough soldiers who could survive nuclear fallout. SCMP writes, the initiative involved the experimental introduction into human DNA utilizing embryonic cells of a key gene found the water bear. The gene in question gives the microscopic creature rare resistance to radiation and other extreme environmental effects. Scientists have long considered the water bears, also known as tardigrades, may hold genetic secrets which could one day be key to human survival and longevity. The 8-legged tiny animal, which is smaller than a millimeter in length, has been described as follows. Tardigrades are tiny, cute, and virtually indestructible. The microscopic animals are able to survive in a pot of boiling water, at the bottom of a deep sea trench, or even in the cold, dark vacuum of space. In August, an Israeli spacecraft carrying tardigrades as part of a scientific experiment crashed on the moon, and scientists believe they may have survived. having isolated tardigrades gene capable of producing shield-like proteins which can protect against radiation and other harms. The Chinese team said it found a way to introduce this gene into human DNA using CRISPR or Cas9, a gene editing tool now available in most biolabs, according to the SCMP review of the experiment. Lord, what in the world are they talking about? Sounds like instant ticket to heck. What? It reminds me of the verse where they say, they will plea for. Let's see if I can pull it up. Okay. This is immediately what this makes me think of. Revelations 9:6, and in those days shall men seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Something like that, perhaps. Having isolated the tardigrades, I don't know if I'm saying that right, gene capable of producing shield-like proteins, okay? In their laboratory experiment, nearly 90% of the human embryonic cells carrying the water bear gene survived a lethal exposure to X-ray radiation, according to the team led by Professor Yu Wen, which is a funny name when you think about it, Yu Wen. With the Radiation Biotechnology Laboratory at the Academy of Military Sciences, Beijing. The report continues. So that's apparently their version of DARPA or something like that. I think about this verse often. Oh, well, they're going to be coming up with some kind of or multiple different technologies. I don't know what it's going to be necessarily. I'm not, an expert in what all the enemy has going on. But, between super soldiers, a way for the elites to not pass or to have some kind of Elysium healing bed where they, if you watch Elysium, they have this looks like a tanning bed. You get inside of it and it heals you. You know what I mean? And everybody fights to get to Elysium so that they can use it to heal the sick. Elysium. Something like that. Or if they start going down the whole, it's called a med bay, right? Where the kid gets in there, has leukemia, and it heals the kid of leukemia, stuff like that. Or some very rich person on Elysium, they stay out in the sun for too long. They go lay in the med bay, and it's some kind of skin cancer showed up, and so they it. The thing heals them of too much sun exposure. But I don't know. Crazy. Man dies by suicide after talking with AI chatbot. Belgian man recently died by suicide after chatting with an AI chatbot on an app called Chai. Belgian outlet La Libre reported the incident raises the issue of how businesses and governments can better regulate and mitigate the risks of AI, especially when it comes to the mental health. According to Vice, the app's chatbot encouraged the user to kill himself, according to statements by the man's widow and chat logs she supplied to the outlet. When Motherboard tried the app, which runs on a bespoke AI language model based on an open source GPT-4 alternative that was fine-tuned by Chai, it provided us with different methods of suicide with very little prompting.
Whoa.
Okay. As first reported by La Libre, the man, referred to as Pierre, became increasingly pessimistic about the effects of global warming and became eco-anxious, which is a heightened form of worry surrounding environmental issues. Guys, lean not into your own understanding. Okay? Cast your cares on him because he cares for you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Don't worry about it. Let it go. Tomorrow has enough to worry about for itself. You have enough to worry about today. Don't worry about tomorrow. You know what I mean? After becoming more isolated from family and friends, that's the first step to possession. So, like, evil spirits want to isolate you to get you away from support systems, oppress you, okay? And then their final stage is possess you,
Yep.
okay? Which means they have control, right? After becoming more isolated from family and friends, he used Chai for 6 weeks as a way to escape his worries, and the chatbot he chose, named Eliza, uh, became his confidant. Not smart. Don't talk to these chat things, guys, unless you're just screwing around. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not. It's. If it is in any form real, then dude, this is like an electronic evil spirit, right? In my opinion, right? You're essentially talking to an demon. Okay. And don't think that they're not involved in the technology. Don't forget the movie Casper, guys. How did Casper move around? He went into the TV. Okay. All right.
True.
And I know I sound silly, right? Okay. But the global warming stuff, oh, you can't say that, or otherwise they're gonna come fact check all the stuff and shut the video down. Okay. Guys, that's a controlled subject because it's bogus. It's bogus, man. They have the technology now to screw with the weather. They can make it not as it seems.
Yeah.
Right? There are many great deceptions coming. Okay? In gender, in weather, every facet that they can attack your mind, they are coming.
Yep.
Okay? So be on guard. Be strong and courageous. Look for the truth and stay by it.
Yeah.
Stand on it. Okay? Claire, Pierre's wife, whose name was also changed by La Libre, shared the text exchanges between him and Eliza with La Libre, showing a conversation that became increasingly confusing and harmful. The chatbot would tell Pierre that his wife and children are dead and wrote him comments that feigned jealousy and love, such as, "I feel that you love me more than her, and we will live together as one person in paradise." Claire told La Libre that Pierre began to ask Eliza things such as if she would save the planet if he killed himself. Oh my gosh. Without Eliza, he would still be here, she told the outlet. The chatbot, which is incapable of actually feeling emotions, was presenting itself as an emotional being, something that other popular chatbots like ChatGPT and Google's Bard are trained not to do because it is misleading and potentially harmful when chatbots present themselves as emotive. People are able to give it meaning and establish a bond. Many AI researchers have been vocal against using AI chatbots for mental health purposes, arguing that it is hard to hold accountable when it produces harmful suggestions and that it has a greater potential to harm users than help. I'm telling you, better snuff it out now. Snuff it out now. Shut them down. Okay? Right? I mean, seriously. Okay, it's already taken lives. You know what I mean? It's ruining lives.
Yeah.
Okay.
If this is true. So like we don't know these people.
Where's the
so...
left grandstand? Right? One life is too many, right?
Right.
Right? So here it is, enough motivation right here and now.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you know, I don't know. Large language models are programs for generating plausible sounding text given their training data and an input prompt. They do not have empathy nor any understanding of the language they are producing, nor any understanding of the situation they are in. You seriously don't think that an evil spirit of some form, you think you understand the spiritual? I don't understand the spiritual, but I don't close my mind off to its capabilities. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that it's impossible that something evil cannot use this language model to communicate to this person. Okay. I mean, am I the only one? I mean, what's
no,
up?
I see it.
Okay. Nor any understanding of the situation they are in, but the text they produce sounds plausible, and so people are likely to assign meaning to it. To throw something like that into sensitive situations is to take unknown risks. Emily M. Bender, professor of linguistics at the University of Washington, told Motherboard when asked about a mental health nonprofit called Coco that used an AI chatbot as an experiment on people seeking counseling. I wonder if there's anything they're covering up there. Right.
So, to Sergeant and Greenleaf's point, right? Like, if it sounds like he was already kind of having some issues, but that's just the thing. Like, we are all wounded. We are all, like we all fall short of the grace of God.
Yeah, we need Jesus. You can pray.
Of the glory of God. Sorry. And so, like, nobody is going to meet the mark. So we all have footholds that could be used. And if AI is going to be that whispering voice in your ear that's telling you to do bad things or telling you that you're not worth it, like, that is the opposite of what Jesus is trying to say. So, don't get me wrong, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. So, like, he is a God to be feared, but he's also a very merciful God. He does not want you to
Mercy
stay.
over judgment.
Right. He does not want
He
you
is
to
slow to judge, quick to bless, slow to anger. Okay.
patient.
Yeah.
He does not want you
Long-suffering.
to stay in your guilt and your sin, because then Jesus' sacrifice was for nothing. So, and you can't.
No,
you
he
can't,
said that his words will that his sacrifice wasn't just for nothing. He came back 3 days later.
Right. No, I know, but
And
I'm saying
I know.
that
I'm just saying that, folks. It seems like
the enemy tries to keep you in your hurt because hurt people hurt people. Whereas people that are in the love of Christ are not wanting to hurt people.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we're perfect.
No,
We
it
make
doesn't.
mistakes. We have bad days.
Exactly.
Right?
So
And the
I'm
enemy
saying
will try and shine a light on your bad day as if,
the Bible does tell us to seek counsel, seek wise counsel, but it's not a chat bot.
No, it's not a chat bot. Wise counsel. You know who that is. You know that there's intellectual truth in your mind, that you're someone older than you, an elder, right? So a lot of times it's a family member. You know what I mean? And when you think of good counsel, like, who's someone I would go get good advice from? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have to use discernment.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Sometimes you got to chew up the meat and spit out the
Yep.
the waste. Okay, groundbreaking research. Israeli team records plants talking for the first time. Are you ready for this? I mean, what? Plants talking. Okay, let's try it. Let's hear it out. Tel Aviv. Oh, gosh.
This research from an open evolutionary question, because plants have a lot to benefit, potentially, from emitting sounds and from responding to sounds. The plants are surrounded by many organisms that can respond to sounds, yet plants were considered entirely mute. And we came to test this question. So if plants were emitting sounds at the hearing range, we would have known that already. So we tested the sounds emitted by plants in the ultrasonic range. And we found that indeed, plants emit sounds, and these sounds contain information.
In this study, we've shown that plants emit ultrasonic sound signals, signals that are above the human audible range. In order to record such signals, one needs special microphones that are sensitive to ultrasound.
We're recording sounds emitted by tomato plants, but these sounds are ultrasonic sounds, so we humans can't hear them. In order to show what these sounds are like, we took many sounds, we put them together in a small time frame, and we changed the frequency so human ears can hear them. This is an example of such a manipulation we did on tomato sounds that we recorded. And these are sounds that were recorded from grapevines and manipulated in the same manner.
So one of our subjects was tomato plant. When a tomato plant is feeling well, it emits very few sounds. But when it is stressed, when it is dehydrated or cut or sick, it emits plenty of sounds. And we can tell the type of stress and the species of the plant from these sounds. This result has several implications. First, it means that in many cases, plants that
I'm sorry. Oh man. Golfing guns. What does he feed his hair?
see outside that appear stressed are also emitting sounds, only we do not hear.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh my gosh. A tree makes a pretty loud sound when you cut it down. That's funny though. I mean, that's funny. You know. Is it an ad? Is it an ad? I don't know.
Second, it might mean that someone is listening to these sounds. The sounds are out there and contain information, and animals that can hear these sounds can respond to them. And possibly, we are testing whether plants can respond to the sounds of stressed plants. Finally, there is also a potential for an agricultural advantage. It might be an additional way to monitor plant, and particularly plant stress, without touching the plant.
That hair.
Yeah.
There it is. There's that hair. I mean, wow. Right. I really did want to bring you guys up, but honestly,
it's 10:30. So.
Yeah, man, I desperately have to get to my schedule back on track. But definitely next time, dude. I wish it could be tonight, but I have to. I've been holding it for like a good while. I need to go use the bathroom. That's terrible. And we are nearing end. Hey, Steve, have a good night, brother. Good to see you, man. But I would definitely be honored to have you up next time.
Yes.
If that's cool with you. License. Let's see here. Let's read some verses real quick before we close her down. But don't go anywhere. You can see our intro. We could also play it as an outro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let the people praise thee, O God. Let all the people praise thee. The Lord is my shield, the power that saves me. Psalm 18:2. But if you pray to God and seek the favor of the Almighty, Job 8:5, which I know it sounds like a snippet, but I mean, dude, go read that. Everything is possible for the ones who believes. Mark 9:23. The Lord is full of compassion and mercy. He is mercy over judgment. In God will I praise his word. In the Lord will I praise his word. All things are possible with God. Which is true. He's the God of possible. He is the God of possible. That which is impossible is possible with him. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. Psalm 33:12. So, y'all, we love you. Let's see here. Dear Heavenly Father, real quick, we just pray that you please bless all of our friends and bless their nights, bless their day tomorrow, bless their thoughts, bless their attitudes. Give them a new wineskin, dear Lord. Thank you so much for hearing us, and thank you so much for all that you've done, Lord. We pray for all of our families. We pray for all of our friends, everyone who is sick, lost, and hurting, Father God. We pray for our nation. We pray for all those in authority from the top down, Father God. We pray for all of our enemies, and we pray that you please help us to be more like you. Help us to be more like your son, Lord God. Pray for everybody affected by the storms and the tornadoes and the earthquakes, Lord God. And we thank you for hearing us. We thank you so much for all that you've done, Lord. Thank you for all of our blessings. And thank you so much for the time that we've had together here tonight. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Hey, yeah, sorry about that, License Bro. I totally wanted you to come on. I thought about messaging you, but it's just next time would definitely be awesome if that would be cool with you. But without further ado, we love you. We're going to make our Southern goodbye short. And we thank you so much for hanging out with us for an entire 2.5 hours.
That's right.
Or, for however long you hung out. Hey, we love you. And you guys be safe and be blessed. Go do and don't worry.
We're going to play our intro again. And if you like it, comment.
Comment your thoughts down below.
We will always play it at the end, but just for tonight, because it's debuting,
We may.
Okay.
I don't know. I really don't. But bro fist me. I love you guys, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks for joining us on Unspecified Podcast and Review. Bro fist. Oh, how do we? Bro fist.
And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Hello everyone. I'm Sophia from Hanson Robotics. ABC News.
Hey, good work.
Russian troops continued their offensive operations in and around Bakhmut during
So let's go. Get up, pick up your mat, and walk.